Right, I had to switch to a different camera there and run it. So, right, I had to switch to a different camera there. Body went flat. Anyways, you see what I'm doing here. I've still got it on test setting. The board's still at the machine. But we're going to see if the lamps are okay on this board. Minutes. That's them in. Alright. Let's see what it makes of it now. Ooh. We don't have lamps starting up. Maybe a slight setback. They should be on. I wonder if that fuse popped again. Alright, so we've no operating lamps at the minute. That's a bit of a bummer. Okay, we'll investigate that. Ugh. No, this board's turned out to be a bit of a dog. It was working and then it stopped, and so far replaced the RAM processor. That's got it back up and running, but I don't know if I've got the lamp running yet, so just keep an eye on things. Lucky I had these. Next processor off another board. The RAM I had spare. There's a broken track underneath as well, but we'll see what else goes wrong. I don't know if we've actually got it working this time. So it works out of the cabinet at least. Can't play test it or anything. So here we go again, we're putting it back in the cabinet. Eagle lids. Right, the saga continues. It's a few days later. I've been working on this for quite a while now. This board is almost there. Had it working. Got the lights working as well. That was a fault on the power supply. But as soon as I pressed start button or inserted the coin or anything, it died. And what was happening is it would fall into resetting and try and reset it over and over and over and over, and eventually just died altogether. So, what I thought at first was that I had a power supply issue. So, the power supply is down there at the road. You see there's nothing plugged into the transformer lead. What I've done is I'm using a PC power supply. I've made an adapter using the regulator connector off a scrap board, and the board is totally scrap by the way, so don't worry about it. And contrary to what you may think, you can power most of the MPU4 from that connector. There's a 12 volt and a 5 volt line goes into there. What would normally happen is your 12 volt line is taken off here, and that just passes through this, goes out to the regulator and comes back as 5 volt through there. But you can put 12 volt into there instead and power the rest of the board. You won't get lamps and stuff, but anyway, I'll show you what this is doing now. Now what we're getting is we will boot up for a few seconds. It'll run. It'll set up. That's the setup. You can hear the interference to the lamps with the lamp drive, because interference generated by the operation of the multiplexer can be heard on the real motors. That's what you hear when your machine's switched on in your house and you hear that infernal buzzing, whether you've got the speaker connected or not. It's actually disruption to the voltage levels in the coils driving the reels. Now, power supply is only 250 watt by the way, but it's ample to do this test. Now, if you go over here, and we probe the reset line just now, it's stuck low. See? It's just stuck low. And if we probe over here, on this side of R128, that's stuck low. Now that tells me the fault is somewhere to do with the circuit around T43. And I'll show you why. I don't know how well this will show up, but I've got the schematic up here and I've zoomed in on the reset section. Now, board's stuck in reset, or fallen into reset. Reset line comes through here, and it comes out of T43. Now, if there's a problem with T43, this reset line will either always be low or always be high, and the board won't reset. So what you can do to rule it out is remove R129. That takes the rest of the reset section out of the game. T43 then stays low, and then there's a fault with T43, or there is, I'll find it, fault with this section here. Now if reset line stays low with R129 out, take out T43 as well, and then measure pin 6 here. If you don't do that, you won't be able to tell whether it's pin 6 or T43 is causing the problem, because they're on the same line. With T43 out, awkward to scroll back here. With T43 out, you've effectively got an open circuit here. With R129 out, the rest of this reset section doesn't matter. So what you then get is 5 volt with simply comfy here. There's an open circuit here, so it can't travel to ground that way. It might briefly charge up this capacitor, but it's so small it doesn't matter. And you get 5 volt going to the reset line all the time. Reset line will always be high. So, I did that. I took out 129 T43, and the reset line was high. I checked IC 6 pin 6, IC 19 pin 6, and it was high. So I left R129 out, put T43 back in, and the reset line was low. So it's a faulty T43. That's all it can be, is a faulty T43, because everything else was effectively removed from the circuit by taking the transistor and that resistor out. So, schematic specifies BC108B transistors. Hard to get them these days, at least in the package style that's on the MPU4 board. So I had a look at the specs, and I can just use BC238 transistors in there, 238Bs, and they'll work a treat. So that's what I'm going to do now. Right, these videos are slightly out of sequence, but here's the test setup again. And it's all working now, but it's a little more complicated than I thought. Changed out 2 transistors, there they are there, BC238s, switched on and got nothing. Tried putting the old CPU back in, no joy. Tried different RAM, no joy. Still nothing. Probed around the CPU, IRQ line was stuck low. IRQ line low. Thought to myself, how the hell can that happen? Because it only comes for the ROM card and then. There's nothing wrong with the ROM card. I tried it on that board down there. That board down there on the floor is the next one for repair. Optics are all over the place, so you can never tell where the wheels are. But this one, I tore my head out about it for about an hour. Finally I twigged. I'd removed R129 and I put it back in and soldered it. And what I didn't realise what had happened is when I put it back in, I broke the bloody leg. Now R129 is in the reset section, and without it there, none of the rest of the reset section works. T43 will only be in the final stage. R129 is tied to T42, which is tied to all this here, which is tied to the timing capacitor for the reset, which is there. So with R129 out, so that'll all happen. So it's only 150k resistor, so I got another one, and bingo. God for that. You can hear that multiplexer sound again. I even went to town and replaced the LED because it's annoying, but nobody able to tell whether it works or not, whether you get voltage or not. I was having to use my multimeter every time to make sure the power was going in. I was using the other transformer. But, like I said earlier, if you want to repair one of these, don't bother with the transformer. You don't need that, that's just for the cabinet. Just use PC power supply and make yourself a custom adapter. As long as you've got 12 volt going in the right line, 5 volt going in the right line, you've got a good ground, it'll work. And before making this video, to say that in sequence, I had this on for an hour solid. 250 watt power supply, an old small form factor computer, and it works a treat. It doesn't even heat up. And that actually gives me some ideas to use alternative power supplies with MPU4 hopper machines. If I ever get around to getting one. They're getting a bit rare since teeth these days. It's a real pity because there was a Boulder Dash one up for grabs a while back, but never mind. Anyway, it's all running now. So to recap, placed both the transistors, R129, it's a new CPU and a new RAM. I didn't change any of these chips down here or any of these up here yet. I know they've got slightly green legs, but they're working and they're working fine. No, I ain't taking them out. There's a battery damaged board, which this one was, and traces are weakened by the corrosion, so if you start lifting chips up and down when you don't need to, you break traces, you break through holes, and you'll end up with a real headache. Anyway, time is now 4:30 in the morning. I think I've done enough for this overnight session, so this will be to continued tomorrow when we'll put the board back in the machine again and finally get the thing going and playing.